Hello and welcome to the two-man power trip and the latest podcast. I'm your host, JP John Paz. With me, of course, the former WCW and WWF head writer, the former WCW World Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Vince Russo. Vince, welcome back. How you doing?
What is going on, John? How you doing, my friend?
Doing good, doing good. Can't complain. I feel like the WCW era here might have some complaints, though. But we'll get into it. We're going to talk about Starrcade '99 today.
Okay.
I know you. I don't know. Do you have fond memories of WCW? I don't know if you do or not.
No, fond memories. No, I do want to make one thing perfectly clear because I was even on a chat yesterday or a YouTube or something, and somebody made the comment. A couple of things like this past week that are just so freaking ridiculous, John. I'm just so sick and tired of just absolute lies and made up crap about me after 25, 30 years, whatever it's been. First of all, somebody mentioned yesterday about, when leaving WWE for WCW and how much it was a horrible move and how much I regretted it, this, that, and the other thing. Bro, I could tell you right now, I don't regret it for a second. Not a second. I have not one time in my life ever looked back and said, man, I should have never left WWE for WCW. Never. Not one time. Reason being, John, what are you messaging me now, bro?
No, that was from like a few minutes ago. Yeah,
Yeah. Reason being, because as I told the story to nauseum, the reason I left was because Vince told me to hire a nanny to watch my kids, which translate to Vince telling me, I don't give a shit about you. I don't give a shit about your family. Okay. That's why I left. I don't regret that for a second. Not a second. Then this week, JR and Conrad were talking about me being bitter and mad because I never got WWE stock options.
Yeah, remember I brought that up to you last. Yeah,
Bro, yeah, you did. Yeah, bro, I knew they were going public when I left. I knew they were going public because I remember, Vince, I remember sitting in Vince's limo, just me and Vince, when the WWF, the World Wildlife Foundation, forced him to change the name. I remember that. And I remember sitting there with Vince, and I remember Vince telling me about World Wrestling Entertainment. The very first time I heard WWE was from Vince. I knew they were going public, bro, but people just can't seem to understand the WWE was not going to be more important than my freaking family. Like, I don't know why that's so hard for people to understand. And bro, not maybe, I know for a fact working for the WWE is more important to some people than their own family. That's a fact. No question about it. Not me. So like all these things, I never for a second regretted leaving WWE to go to WCW.
So as far as WCW is concerned, we'll start here with some questions beforehand to kind of go over a little bit of Havoc, a little bit of mayhem leading up to this pay-per-view, which is Starrcade, which was basically your first three pay-per-views when you entered there. So it's very interesting that Buff Bagwell during this period is kind of doing this thing where he breaks character. He basically, like, looking in the camera, he's acting unprofessional, quote unquote, and he's literally even saying, "Hey Russo, did I do a good job for you?" and like making shoot comments on the air. Why was he doing that? What was up with that? And was this supposed to be some like inside thing, or was he doing this on his own? Like, what is this gimmick with Buff going like
No,
shooting
it
basically?
was definitely all scripted, and it was part of what were doing with Buff. And it was, bro, you're going back now all the way to 1999 and
Yeah.
breaking down the fourth wall. Here you got Triple H in 2025. Oh yeah, wait, is it a shoot? Is it a work? Yeah, bro, you're 25 years late to the dance, bro. Like, I was doing this back into 1999, and John, the reason I did everything was to have fresh, different, controversial, new, cutting edge ideas. That's why I did things like this. In other words, not to repeat the same storylines over and over and over again. So that would be the reason why I would do something like this.
So Buff basically is just kind of experimenting with a little bit of shoot angle, and he's
Yeah.
just kind of gonna do something where it's perceived to be that he's doing stuff off the cuff on his own and
Yes.
trying to get attention that
Yes.
way.
Yes.
Interesting at the time too, because you're the powers that be. You're not really on TV. You're not really mentioned. But he says Russo. He actually mentions you by name.
Yeah, well, that I'm sure that wasn't scripted. That's him saying that. Yeah.
Now, you said Halloween Havoc 99 because you come in, you said mostly when we were talking about that, the pay-per-view was mostly intact, like already. So what major changes did you make from the script that you can remember that you did change about Havoc 99 when we
Bro,
were
the
going
only
over
thing, was that the Sid Goldberg bloody mess?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Hogan lays down for Sting.
those two things, those two things I know I absolutely changed. And again, with Sting and Hulk, it was a direction I wanted to go in. I already laid out that story with you with the Avengers. And I already laid this out with you as well. I just wanted to make sure Sid was really, really protected.
When you look at it, right, Hogan loses to Sting. If
Bro,
you actually
hold
look,
on for a second. Time out.
Yep,
Thank you for saying that name.
what
How
Hogan?
are you feeling sitting there
Oh,
Monday, seeing your boy, bro? Can I tell you why he got booed out of the building?
yes, please. I
And
need somebody.
I dare people to go back and watch it. John, I'll tell you exactly why he got booed out of the building. Bro, first of all, there's still some remnants of the racist comments, but that was a long time ago, John. Yeah, I mean, It really, really was. Second of all, of course, this guy was Mr. MAGA, at the but bro, freaking Taker was a Trump guy. They didn't boo Taker. Bro, I'll tell you why they really booed him. And this was a huge mistake. And John, I don't know if this was, Hogan or the company telling him to say this. I don't know who this came from. Bro, they really started booing him out of the building when he just started hawking that beer. He just came out and it literally, you knew when Hogan ended and the commercial started. When he started hawking and selling that beer, that's when they booed him out of the building, bro. They weren't there to hear an ad for Hulk Hogan's, beer. And John, like, I got to tell you, I don't know, John, it's funny because you're from Jersey, I'm from New York. We've done a billion shows together. And John, I'll be honest, I don't know if you believe what I tell you. I don't know. You hear so much shit about me out there all the time. Who knows what you believe and what you don't believe? But when I'm watching this and then I hear him say that, and that's when the boos really started coming in. Bro, my mind goes to, I've told you this a million times, John. I'm not anti-Hulk. I don't have any heat with Hulk. I've told you this a billion times. I wish I could have had a relationship with Hulk without Eric in the picture. Everything would have been fine. But John, my mind immediately went to, did the company set him up? Because you've got to know how that crowd is going to respond to what he's saying. You have to know that, bro. And John, what I'm thinking is, you know how this shit works, John. John, remember when they first made the deal with Saudi? Yep. And the guys from Saudi wanted Yokozuna? Remember, they didn't know like guys were dead?
Yes.
Bro, I'm thinking the same exact thing. Did the Netflix executives and the Netflix brass, were they the ones that wanted Hogan? And now, Triple H, now they're in a position where they can't say no,
right?
But they're going to make damn sure Hogan falls flat on his face. That's where my mind goes. And John, let me ask you this, because you've interviewed the dude. Like you know him pretty good. I know you know a lot about him. I just find it hard to believe that Hulk himself didn't realize that was the wrong place and the wrong time to go into 100% infomercial. Do you agree with that?
Yes, but I was reading into it. TKO now owns a part
I
of
know,
Real American Beer,
I know
so I
that.
feel like they're like, we have to promote what we own. Like I feel like they try to crowbar all their advertising in. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they got to
yeah,
get it in. We
yeah,
got to get it in. Yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
feel like I don't know. I was pissed about it with Hogan
No,
getting booed, but
yeah,
that's a
John,
different story for a
I
different
got to
day.
be
Yeah,
honest
yeah.
with you, man. It pisses me off. John, I'm going to tell you this. You know, people that are booing Hulk out of the building again, bro. Yes, he made the racist comments and all that shit. People that are booing that dude out of the business did not watch Hogan in his heyday.
Yeah,
They
Michael
have,
Cole said, he goes, without Hogan, we wouldn't
yeah.
even be here right
I'm
now. So
serious,
yeah,
bro. They
yeah,
have no idea.
yeah.
They have no idea of what this guy meant to the wrestling company, man. Period. End of story.
Vince McMahon would be selling hot dogs at a hockey arena in New Hampshire right now if it wasn't for the Hulkster.
He very well could be, bro, without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Remember the great Hogan line about Bischoff? Eric Bischoff would be selling meat out of the back of a truck in Minneapolis if it wasn't for meat, brother.
Yeah. Well,
It's a great Hogan line, yeah.
Yeah.
But going back to WCW, because I could talk about that all day, but going
Yeah.
back to WCW, 32-man tournament at Mayhem, the finals were the final four, which we talked about. Brett, Sting, Benoit, Jarrett on the actual pay-per-view. Why not an 8-man pay-per-view, like King of the Ring? Why not do it like that way?
Well, probably, bro, because there were many other angles going on at the time, and I wanted to continue those stories during the, bro, if we were, again, if I'm the WWE in 2025 and I got a 3-hour Raw and a 3-hour SmackDown and I got to fill all this time, it's definitely an 8-man. But back then, bro, I was really my focus, John, at that time was really to get everybody in an angle. The very much the same thing I did at the WWE. So if I want to get everybody in an angle, that means that they're going to have to work, at the pay-per-view. So I didn't want to waste 4 matches just on the tournament.
Anybody else ever considered but Brett to win it? I know obviously it was in Canada, the finals, and you were saying that that's what you wanted, but anybody else ever considered except
Probably not, bro, because they're one of my top priorities and a sense of urgency was to get Brett where he belonged to be, without a shadow of a doubt. So I probably knew immediately that's what we wanted to do with Brett.
Do you think it was premature to write off Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair before Starrcade? Maybe a little bit counterproductive not to have the 2 biggest stars on WCW's biggest pay-per-view. Ric Flair kind of is Starrcade or was Starrcade. What do you think about that?
That's a very, 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 very fair question, John. But man, when I went there and the ratings were in the shitter, I just wanted to turn everything around as quickly as I could, man. I just really wanted to start brand new and fresh as quickly as I could. Hindsight being 2020, could I held that off a couple of months? Absolutely, I could have. No question about it. And maybe that would have been the right thing to do. But I was so focused on giving this company a new start that I wanted to get to it immediately.
One final thing before we get in the pay-per-view here. It was reported by Dave Meltzer that one of the big issues where Vince Russo and Kevin Sullivan clashed was over how to use Goldberg. Russo wanted to keep the title off of Goldberg for as long as possible, feeling that there's more money in the chase for having Goldberg chasing the belt, whereas Sullivan really wanted Goldberg to be champion. Is that true or false?
Listen, bro, whoever Meltzer is talking to, I have no idea. I never clashed with Kevin Sullivan at all.
Terry Taylor, Conan, Ric Flair.
Never. And we never had that conversation. We never had that conversation at all. So bro, I don't know. Sullivan's obviously not here. I don't know if Sullivan gave that to Meltzer, or
Right,
who
right.
knows? I have no idea. Bro, I never had a clash or a disagreement with Kevin Sullivan whatsoever, and we never had that conversation.
So as far as the WCW pay-per-view, Starrcade 99, December 19th, 99, Washington, D.C., the MCI Center, 8,582 in attendance. The Battle to End the Millennium pay-per-view buys, 145K. It's being built up as the last pay-per-view of the century, which is true because WWF had Armageddon the week before and did 337,000 buys. So
Yeah.
they're beating you by quite a bit there, by about 200,000 buys. 145 is not bad, but still, you're getting dominated by WWF. Last pay-per-view of the millennium, the last pay-per-view of the century. That's kind of a big thing they really did kind of pump up there when you actually think about it.
I got to tell you, John, like that had to come straight out of marketing, because like
Right.
I don't remember promoting it like that way at all. So I'm sure that was their marketing promotions, department, and I don't have an issue with that.
So we're going to start off the show. Shivani, Heenan, and Scott Hudson. They have the intro video pumping up the matches, and obviously Scott Hudson does this thing where he kind of goes over the matches, and then you have the actual intro video package, which hits off. Is that just in the script, if you will, like Hudson here, and then I want a video package, and then I want the show start?
Everything like item 1, item 2, item 3. Bro, speaking of Hudson, man, what's he doing these days?
You know what? I'm not really sure, but I did interview him. I want to say 2 years ago. And we just talked about WCW and his time in the wrestling business, but he seemed like he was doing really well just from when I was speaking to him. But I just don't remember what exactly he's up to, like personally.
He
was
no
wrestling,
good, man.
though.
He was good, and he was very good at what he did, and he was a really good guy.
He was actually really good. I liked him a lot. I know he
Yeah.
kind of came from like quote unquote dirt sheet world, but he was great.
He was. Yep.
So as far as the show is concerned, we're going to start off, interestingly enough, with the Mama Lukes, Big Vito and Johnny the Bull, with Tony Marinara defeating Disco Inferno and Lash LaRue. Match went about 9 minutes, 40 seconds, almost 10 minutes. It was an okay match for what it was. But the best part about it to me is afterwards. So Tony Marinara with the ether, with the thing full of ether, they knock out Disco and put him in a body bag.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
See,
what are you doing here?
That's a storyline right there. See, I'm so chomping at the bit, man, to start fresh. And I believe, and again, talk about shoot, John. I believe the story was Disco had a gambling problem. And this is an absolute shoot. To this day, it's an absolute shoot. And he owed them money, which makes all the sense in the world. Of course, they're going to be tied to the mafia. Disco's got a gambling problem, which is a shoot. So yeah, man, that's again, right there. I just formed the Mama Lukes, and we've got this storyline with Disco.
It's so funny, like this the angle, and they're kind of jokingly saying like Disco is like their protege, even though he's older than them. but he's like reluctantly with them, and he's always nervous. He actually did a really good acting job with it. Like he's always nervous, like these guys are just going to beat the hell out of him, and he doesn't know what to expect.
I don't know if you know this at the time, but this is probably what was either this was going on at the time, or bro, it happened a little while later. John, I was living in Atlanta, okay? I'm freaking sitting at home one day watching the news, okay? Bro, Disco's mugshot comes on television.
No way. Wow.
What happened, bro, was they were having a poker game in the basement of a buddy's house. And somebody tipped off the cops that this was a high stakes poker game. Bro, they busted it, arrested Disco, and his mugshot was awesome. All over TV. Oh crap. My God. And bro, I think it happened after this. But yeah, bro, a lot of people don't know that I popped huge when I saw that mugshot on TV. I mean, it turned out to be nothing. It was just some guys getting together for a poker game. But oh my God, that was phenomenal.
That is awesome. And obviously he turned it into this guy's a gambling problem. Now he owes money to the mafia. That's great.
Yes, yes.
Interesting. Johnny the Bull is strong as hell. Picks him up in the body bag, brings it to the back. But it's funny. He's starting to get tired. So they bring it to the back. They take him out of the body bag. He starts to come to. Then you throw him in the back of a trunk, and then and then they drive off. Total Sopranos mafia stuff going on here with the.
I wonder how long we kept him locked in that trunk as a rib. I wonder.
I was just gonna say how much of a rib was that with the body bag in the trunk?
Oh, big time. Yeah. We what we should have done, bro, was we should have left a little seam and put him in the body bag and had his nose come out through the bag. That's what. Thinking about that now, that's what I should have done.
Man, I just funny to think of the ribs going on with that.
You want to hear something hysterical? Somebody sent me this. Okay. Disco's trading card. Bro, listen to what they wrote on the back of Disco's trading card, bro. This is the company, and this is a talent in the company.
Yes.
Disco Inferno has won the television title and yet lost to a woman. Disco Inferno's ride through WCW has been shaky, to say the least. Unquestionably the most unrespected wrestler in the business. He's loaded with talent, but his peers just don't take him serious. His 70s attire and hip-shaking antics have drawn the ire of fans and fellow wrestlers alike, has formed an alliance with fellow danceaholic Alex Wright, but their wins have been few and far between. Can you imagine that, bro?
Oh, my God. Burying him.
I know. Like, I swear to God, I had to read this twice. Bro, do you know, one year, bro, I don't remember what it was, when I was the magazine editor, bro, this was probably 94, maybe 94 or 95. Bro, I wrote all the back of the trading cards for the WWE. I did that. Awesome. And that's why I'm reading this and I'm like, holy shit, bro. They're burying one of their own talents this way. Unbelievable, man. All true, by the way. Everything they said was true, but I don't know if you want to bury the guy that way.
Probably was Terry Taylor.
Yeah. Oh, God, Disco used to get so under his skin, man.
All right, back to the pay-per-view here.
Yes.
It's one of those things where you are putting some storylines in, you got some stuff going on, but then there is, man, it's like all these injuries. It literally, the end of 99, 2000, it's just like really bad luck for WCW, and we'll see it even again for Sold Out, even worse injuries. But you have Shivani announcing that Scott Hall is injured, so no longer is there the ladder match. No longer is he the U.S. champion. No longer, obviously, he's the TV champ. Maybe threw the TV champ, the title in the garbage, and Hacksaw ended up picking it up. But no longer is he going to be the United States champion. The ladder match with Benoit is now off, and he's stripped of the title. It felt like bad luck after bad luck here with injuries when you got there in WCW.
Yeah, no, and John, I'm never like, and that's another thing, bro. Like, I swear to God, it's, one thing I always hear is, Vince always blamed standards and practices. No, bro, I never blame standards and practices. I knew there was a standards and practices when I went there. I knew I was going to have to abide by rules. I had no problem with that. The only issue I ever had with them was I asked them to give me a handbook. What can I do and what I can't do? Give me the rules and I will play by the rules and follow the rules. They never supplied me with that, so I didn't know what I was dealing with. The reason why I bring that up is, John, I would never use injuries as an excuse. Never in a million years, especially with the people on that roster at that time. I mean, if we were short on bodies, maybe, but that roster was so deep and so rich that if somebody got hurt, there was immediately somebody to plug in. So like, I don't think there's ever been a time in wrestling where I ever used injuries as an excuse. And John, back then, which is different today, if a guy was injured, you could still put him on TV. He just can't work a match. Today, somebody gets injured, they're off of television. You never see them. So, when I was working, okay, bro, you got hurt. We can't book you in a match, but we can still have you on TV. And that was the most important thing.
So Benoit comes out, cuts an in-ring promo. He said that he wants a match, doesn't want the title that way. He wants to win or lose the title the right way, and that's in the ring. So total babyface promo from Benoit. Actually, people kind of ripped his promo ability and promo. He's really not that bad of a promo. I mean, he's short and sweet. He's silent but violent kind of thing. But he actually isn't that bad of a promo at all, to be honest. But Medusa is up next. She is going to be going
okay,
after
so
the
we didn't do something there with we're gonna do something with Benoit later in the show.
Oh yeah, you'll find out.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
yes,
okay,
he will have a ladder match later on,
okay,
and it's going to steal the show. It's going to be the best match of the show by far.
okay, okay.
But next up, Medusa versus Evan Courageous with Spice, the former Nitro girl, who, by the way, still to this day looks great, even though obviously older, but she looks like she's still back in '99. She looks great. Medusa defeats Evan Courageous to win the Cruiserweight title thanks to Spice. Girl power here. She tricks Courageous and helps Medusa win. What is going on? Why is Medusa winning a man's title here? The Cruiserweight Championship.
That's very, I'm just watching the Attitude Era with PMS. That's very PMS-ish. So that's probably, where I got the idea from. Again, John, the question you just asked, why is a woman winning the man's title now? Why? Because I want you to watch next week to see what's going to happen and where it's going to go. Like, that's why. And again, John, I'm not a wrestling purist. I never was a wrestling purist. I'm a freaking entertainment guy. I'm a guy that's going to love Andy Kaufman wrestling women. I'm going to love that. Where, I know wrestling purists are going to hate that. John, I swear to God, you got to watch this. It's short. It's just a 2-part series. Just came out on Netflix. It's called Fights, Camera, and Action. And it's the story of the Jerry Springer Show.
And I just saw it pop up. I was gonna click on that. Yeah,
bro. The executive producer of the show's name was Richard Dominic, who I actually had a meeting with when I was at the WWE. Bro, you need to listen to him about ratings and how to get ratings and what ratings mean to networks. It's identical to what I was dealing with at that exact same time.
I'm definitely going to check that out. I saw that pop up and I was like, oh man, this looks interesting. I love Springer.
You got to, and bro, it's only 2 episodes. It's real short, but man, when you watch this, that's how ratings and networks were at this exact time.
So Mean Gene is backstage with Screaming Norman Smiley. He's, in his full garb here, his full regalia, and he's scared to death of Ming, who he has to wrestle next. So, interesting. So Norman Smiley versus Ming for the Hardcore Championship. Norman Smiley defeats Ming to retain the title, thanks to Brian Knobbs, of all people. So he's getting a bit lucky here, Screaming Norman. Great gimmick.
That's the idea. Yeah. And I know, bro, and John, again, I never saw this. If I saw it, I would tell you I saw it. They did something very similar with Mickey Whipwreck at ECW, correct?
Yes.
Was that before? Was that before? That was before. Yeah, I John, I swear, I know about that now. I know about that. I didn't know about that back then. I don't know, bro. Something triggered me about Norman to put him in that role. It had to be like one particular thing. Like, bro, I remember the day I heard, Jay Lethal do Savage in the back. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me, bro? Like, how are we not doing this? Yeah. So there was something with Norman that really triggered this idea, but I can't remember what it was.
Man, what an entertaining guy. I know he's legit shooter, like legit tough guy, but it's so funny. He's like, wow, what range here? He's so funny.
Oh, man. So he was so good in that role. Bro, we had people that were really, really good in roles like him. Ernest Miller, was so good in that freaking role, man. Yeah.
So he gets the win. Then afterwards, once Ming kind of comes to, he beats up the referee, Nick Patrick. So keeping him kind of, a bit strong as well there with Ming, even though he lost to Screaming Norman. Speaking of maybe somebody doing great acting-wise, David Flair, he gets a new crowbar. He's backstage and he's laughing to himself about it.
Yeah. God, bro, I'm sorry, man. He did a great job for me, man. Him, Daphne, Crowbar, they did a absolute great job for me, man.
Pretty friendly with Crowbar, obviously two Jersey boys here,
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
was praising David Flair how great of an actor he was and stuff. And he goes,
unbelievable.
maybe not in the ring. He goes, but that's where I was supposed to be. I'm supposed to
Right,
be the guy in the
that's
ring
right,
because I'm not a good promo. Like,
right.
and you know.
Yep, exactly.
So then Oklahoma is in the back. He is preparing for his match, possibly him and Dr. Death preparing, because if Vampiro defeats Dr. Death, Oklahoma gets 5 minutes with Vampiro, or Vampiro gets 5 minutes with Oklahoma. They're showing the Misfits back there. Then we have a hype video for
Bro, that
the
was my favorite. I swear to God, my favorite. We talked about Oklahoma last time, but my favorite Oklahoma call of all time was Vampiro, Vampiro, Vampiro.
yes.
Bro, I swear to God, man, that was the greatest call ever.
My favorite is Tony. Take a step back. You're a B teamer. This is A teamer time. Like you're a B teamer, Tony.
Ed could have been Jack Galifianakis without a shadow of a doubt. That's how talented Ed was, without a shadow of a doubt.
He with the JR isms too, he nailed them, like the college football stuff and like
That's
the
because
background and
we spent so much time around JR. Like we knew that stuff we heard like every single day, bro.
And supposedly he really did say that at one point to Shivani, like you're the B team, I'm the A team.
Yeah, I'm sure Shivani probably gave him that line. I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So
100%.
man. People,
So
that's
funny.
what I'm saying, bro. Like, okay, I the Bell's palsy thing, I get, but we've got to have a little bit of a sense of humor, man. You know, we can't take everything so seriously, man.
Yes, and obviously some of this stuff is just so funny because he's talking about Tijuana State, who from two grand with Tijuana State and stuff like. The Wall went to like Germany, in Hamburg, Germany. He went to the college over there. Like so funny.
I got to go back and watch some of that stuff, man.
He is so good. And even we'll get into it next week. We'll talk about Sold Out, but he has this awesome promo just making fun of like you Ally McBeal watching girls out there like so good. But
the funny thing is, bro, I just want to say this, like, just so people know, like, Ed didn't want to be a talent. It's not like Ed was, bugging me to put him on television. Not at all. Like, that was 100%, my idea, because I knew, like I said, like Jay Lethal, I knew he did the JR impression, but Ed never wanted to be a talent.
And he goes out there and hits a home run with it. He was awesome. Yeah. So the hype video for Revolution and Jim Duggan match, Duggan and some mystery opponents versus the Revolution. Mike Tenay is then going to interview Hacksaw Jim Duggan before the match. So the Revolution, which consists of Shane Douglas, Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn, and Asia, are going to fight Jim Duggan, Hacksaw, and his mystery team. Randomly enough, the Varsity Club. Yes, in 99, the Varsity Club. Kevin Sullivan, Mike Rotunda, Rick Steiner with Leia Meow. So the Varsity Club in 99 is back.
Oh, I love that gimmick. That's why it's back. I love that gimmick when I first saw it in WCW. I loved it.
Get out of here. That's why they came back?
1000%. Bro, the way they used to run around the ring in that circle before the matches, I was such a freaking mark for the Varsity Club. It's not even funny.
Wow, this whole time I thought it was like maybe a rib, like making fun of those guys because you hated that gimmick.
Hell no, no, bro. They were one of my favorite things on the show. I loved that, bro. That was no rib. Absolutely not.
So even though Duggan brings back the Varsity Club, maybe the joke's on him because the Revolution gets the win anyway in this 8-person tag team match. Went about 5 minutes. Douglas was injured, basically doing commentary the whole time, but they do get the win thanks to the Varsity Club basically turning on Duggan because Duggan really wanted the pinfall. They wanted to get in, and they wanted to be a part of it. And Duggan, he wanted his revenge, so they said screw this, and they turned on Duggan, and the Revolution get the win. Then draped the flag over him afterwards, and beat Duggan down afterwards. What do you think of Revolution going over Duggan, even though he had the mystery team?
Yeah, I think it's okay because of where I'm going. You know what I'm saying, bro? I know in my mind I've got a role for Duggan and where I'm going. And, so I know I'm doing something with everybody. So, I mean, that's why I thought in this case it was okay to do based on where I was going with Dugen. If I wasn't going anywhere with Dugen, I would have killed him in the water, but I knew where we were going with him.
He must, the next night of Nitro, denounce the United States. Mr. USA has to denounce the United States. What do you think about that?
He hated me for all that, bro. And it's like, I don't mean to be disrespectful, John. Bro, it's a television show. This is a television show, man. You're not really denouncing your country. And it was clear that the powers that be, like, were the heels behind it and all this stuff. To this day, bro, he hates me for the creative. And like when I was there, this is the part, John, that really pisses me off. And it's the mentality of the wrestler. And I'm not lying about this because you've been doing this for a very long time. Never once did he say to me, I don't like this. Why are we doing this? I feel uncomfortable with this. I've been doing this gimmick for 20 years. Not one single time. Because if I know he's uncomfortable with this to the degree he was, and I'm going to have a conversation with him. But when a talent doesn't say something to me, I don't think there's a problem. And of course, their mentality is, oh, bro, we say something, we'll lose our spot. You know how they think. So, again, I do this whole angle with Dugen. He's prominent on television. He's getting over on me. I mean, I brushed my teeth with a toothbrush he used to clean the toilet bowl. So he's getting over on me. And then, of course, I'm out of WCW and I leave and I've got to hear all about this absolute hatred Jim Dugan has for me. And I'm like, bro, all you had to do was have a conversation with me. All you had to do was tell me, Vince, I'm uncomfortable. This is why I'm uncomfortable. Where are we going with it? That's all you had to do. Never one single time did he say to me, I don't like what we're doing or where we're going.
To be honest, I didn't really mind it at all because it was giving him like a storyline. Like,
right.
Oh my God, like he had
John, that's how I was looking at it. And it totally backfired on me. That's how I was looking at it. John, these are freaking people I was watching as a wrestling fan. I was a huge fan of Hacksaw Jim Duggan. So I'm looking to keep him on television in a spot that makes sense. And it just totally backfired on me.
Right. Can't just keep doing the same exact thing over and over. You got to change it up a little bit, put a little storyline development in there.
Right.
So Mean Gene is in the back. Interview with Jerry Only. They talk about Oklahoma going to be in a shark cage for the Dr. Death versus Vampiro match, which is up next. Very funny because he's on commentary the whole time, which is great. And, he's going back and forth with Shivani, which is just sarcasm back and forth.
Bro, have you ever actually seen a shark cage match?
You mean where they put the manager in the shark cage and they put him up?
No. They put two men in a shark cage and they fight. Have you ever seen that?
Not that I can remember. Like,
you got to look it up, bro. Yeah. Bro, I remember one specifically I saw, and it was Chief Jay Strongbow. I don't remember who he was in there with, but I guarantee you could find it online. Yeah, look it up. Yeah, they used to have shark cage matches where they will put two guys in that tiny shark cage to fight.
God, that sounds boring.
Yeah.
So then Vampiro is going to defeat Dr. Death Steve Williams via DQ. He gets the win just in about 5 minutes, which means he gets 5 minutes alone with Oklahoma. The only thing was Dr. Death beat him up so bad and got the DQ. It was almost a setup for Oklahoma to come in and beat up Vampiro. So it was like a little bit of a setup there with Dr. Death.
Very clever.
The only problem is he kind of gets his bearings with him, and Dr. Death is to the back. They made him go away, but they let the Misfit stay at ringside. So they let Vampiro kind of get back to his feet. He beats the hell out of Oklahoma, and he actually gets the win in 3 minutes. Oklahoma thought he had the one up on him, and Vampiro turns it. So Vampiro beats Dr. Death by DQ. Then he defeats Oklahoma by pinfall.
See, I swear, now that's bro. You're walking me through this pay-per-view that I've never watched. Ever. I was there that day, but I've never watched it. But you make me want to watch it now. Now I want to go back and watch this.
There's some interesting, like, funny stuff. Like, I like Oklahoma, so I thought this was great. The whole segment's great because it's basically him.
Yeah.
And even when he's in the ring, he's got the mic on. He's talking. Like, I'm going to stomp him, and like making jokes.
Uh,
So basically, Vampiro goes 2-0 here, though, over Oklahoma. He kind of, even though Dr. Death beat the hell out of him, he does get the 2-0. He does look strong. He's pretty damn over too, Vampiro, at this point
oh
as a
yeah, yeah,
babyface.
yeah,
And the
yeah,
Misfits, people like the Misfits.
yeah, yep.
Jerry only. Remember, he used to go Jerry only,
Yeah,
Jerry
yeah,
only,
yeah.
Jerry only. Yeah,
He that was a good guy. That he was a really good guy, Jerry Only,
Tony, you got to speak in sound bites, Tony. You got to say things 3 times, Tony.
man. Oh my God.
So good. Then, of course, the powers that be said something is brewing here. They have something going on with Kurt Hennig in the back. So you're meeting with Hennig, something's going on. And then Tenay is with the Heat, the Harlem Heat, and Midnight. So just some more backstage stuff going on. There's a hype video for the next match. There is going to be a Dustin Rhodes interview as well. And then we have Creative Control and Kurt Hennig versus Harlem Heat and Midnight. A lot of tension with Harlem Heat because Stevie Ray doesn't like Midnight. Booker T isn't happy with that, but Booker T loves Midnight. He wants to report to the team. So there's something brewing there with the Harlem Heat. A lot of tension.
And bro,
going on.
you know what, bro? That I swear to God, I know this now, 20 something years later, because I mean, Stevie and I still do a show every week, and I'm really, really tight with Stevie Ray. Bro, there was heat with them and Midnight.
Oh, for real?
That I did not know about. Like I did not know about, and it was all about her wanting more money, and it was all wrestling bullshit. It was nothing personal. It was business, and they were trying to educate her and trying to teach her how things work. That no, you don't ask for more money on your second night. They were really trying to educate her and help her. But I had no idea that was going on until he told me that like a couple weeks ago.
So Gerald Patrick, a.k.a. the Harris Twins, a.k.a. Creative Control, Kurt Hennig get the win in 8 minutes over Harlem Heat, Booker T, Stevie Ray, and Midnight, thanks to that tension between the group. So obviously the powers that be are very happy with that outcome there.
Yeah.
Then we have
I want people to understand how when you have storylines, it's so easy to beat people rather than clean finishes, bro.
Right.
People don't understand that. That's why if there's heat between Harlem Heat with Midnight, that's the reason they lose the match. It gives them an out. It protects them, and you also have a storyline. I mean, John, like again, just to go to the WWE for a second, like every time I see Gunther now, my mind immediately goes to, bro, the dude lost clean to Sami Zayn. Every time I see Nia Jax, my mind immediately goes to Nia Jax lost clean to Liv Morgan. When you have stories, you have outs to beat people. That's why it's so important.
So then we have Jeff Jarrett defeating Dustin Rhodes via pinfall in 11 minutes, 20 seconds in a bunkhouse brawl. Pretty damn good match here. Love
I
these
was
two.
going to say that sounds, especially, Dustin, the age he was back then, that sounds like it's going to be a good match.
Yes, good match there between those two. Thanks to Kurt Hennig, by the way, Jarrett gets the win there. So not only are, you're making your presence felt with Creative Control and Jeff Jarrett, but Hennig is kind of, under your control too, and Hennig helps Jarrett get the win.
Yeah. I saw that. I watched it, came across my YouTube yesterday. I had a laugh, man, because I saw the promo between MJF and Jeff. Did you see that?
Yes, very good. Yep.
Bro, Jeff is still using the same exact mannerisms. Like Jeff always does this. Always does. He's been doing that, bro, since the first day I met him, man.
He's the best.
I love Jeff.
And he's going to be, you're going to hear his name again because he's kind of going to be the MVP of this pay-per-view in a second. But we see David Flair in the back. We see a nice little hype video. We have a DDP interview. And DDP is going to defeat David Flair in a crowbar on a pole match.
Yeah,
In
nice.
4 minutes, another pole match, which is so funny. There's somebody, I don't know who it is, but they always message me, "Hey, ask Russo about the polls." They always say that, like as if it's like some funny joke, like you're obsessed with the pole matches.
Yeah.
But every time I put something out, they message me about, "Hey, ask him about the polls."
Yeah.
So here we go. I'm going to ask you about the polls. They wanted it, they got it. Crowbar and a pole. What is going on here? DDP gets the win over David Flair.
Bro, you watch the Jerry Springer thing. And watch why there were fights, and watch why all that. Bro, everything's got to be a spectacle. It's got to be a spectacle. Casual fans are drawn by spectacles. So just the fact, bro, that, okay, bro, this could be a straight up wrestling match, or we can have a pole with a crowbar hanging from it, and the first one who gets it gets to use it. A casual fan is going to want to see the crowbar. Period. End of story. Casual fans love gimmick matches. If they loved 5-star wrestling matches, they would be watching the show every single week. They love gimmick matches. Period. And a pole is just one. You just said we had a bunkhouse brawl. That's the same thing as a pole match. It's a gimmick freaking match.
So Daphne will make her debut here, by the
really?
way, and saves David at the end from a further beating from DDP. So DDP stops the beating because Daphne makes her debut here.
Yeah.
Did you bring in who brought in Daphne?
No, I this is the first time I'm meeting Daphne. I probably, I would guess Terry probably, because I remember Terry was a big fan of Daphne's. So he was a big fan of Leia Meow too, but for totally different reasons.
Right, of course. Yes, I got you. Yep. Jimmy Hart was a fan of hers too, by the way.
Interesting. Bro, was that the first time in how many years Jimmy Hart got booed? Oh my God. Bro, I'm sitting there and I'm like, bro, if we're booing Jimmy Hart, the world's about to come to an end. Bro,
bizarro world.
Jimmy Hart. Oh my God.
The man. Yeah, he's the best.
Yes.
He's the best. Then we have Sting with Miss Elizabeth defeating the total package Lex Luger via DQ, 5 minutes, 30 seconds. They tease that Elizabeth wants to break up with Luger. He's abusing her. He doesn't want her with him, so she's afraid of him. So, of course, she turns on Sting, and then Luger beats up Sting after the match, of course.
Yeah. Again, just a story and an angle.
The swerve, bro. The swerve.
Yeah, swerve, bro. Yeah. Somebody told me there was a big Ricochet swerve on AEW. Was there?
Was it when he beat the crap out of Swerve Strickland?
I don't know. Somebody told me there was just a big Ricochet swerve.
Oh, I think they're messing with you maybe because he beat up Swerve, the wrestler Swerve.
Oh, God. Is his wife managing him yet?
No, not yet.
She will be.
I wouldn't mind seeing that, to be honest. She's good. I mean, she's great for TV.
Yeah, yep.
So we got a little hype video package, and then we have Kevin Nash versus Sid Vicious in a powerbomb match. Kevin Nash.
Okay, now hold on. A powerbomb match is a pole match. This is a gimmick. A powerbomb match is a gimmick. I just got to ask you real quick, John, how many matches are on this card?
To be honest, too many. 13 matches.
Wow.
That's too many for me.
Too many. Way too. You know why, John? Because I'm just starting and I'm trying to make everybody happy. I'm trying to get everybody on the card. Yes. Wow, way too many. Way too many.
Yep. So Kevin Nash defeats Sid in the powerbomb match in 7 minutes. The funny thing here is he doesn't really powerbomb him like the ref sees it. The ref, Jeff Jarrett, interferes. The ref gets knocked down. Then all of a sudden Nash just pretends that he powerbombed him, and the ref gives him the win because Sid's knocked out or whatever, and he's holding his back.
Which is something that Kevin Nash would totally do. He would totally do that. Yes.
And I guess, right, you're keeping Sid strong. You didn't really lose. You got screwed.
Right.
Man, you are doing a lot to help Sid here. He's kind of becoming sympathetic, even though he's a 6'9", 350-pound monster. He's being very sympathetic lately.
Well, John, I mean, if you look at this whole card and if you look at everything that I did, I was really trying to protect everybody. like that's so important to protect people and just not beat them. It's so important, man.
Then we have a Chris Benoit interview with Mike Tenay. He says that the Open Challenge is still up for the U.S. title, and the Open Challenge is going to be a ladder match. So guess who comes out to wrestle Chris Benoit? Chris Benoit versus Jeff Jarrett for the U.S. title.
I was gonna say Double J. I was gonna not that I remember, but I'm thinking like that's where I would have gone. Yeah.
So double duty tonight for Jeff Jarrett. He beats Dustin, and then here he loses to Chris Benoit. Benoit retains his United States title in the ladder match in just about 10 minutes plus here. Easily the match of the night. Great match. I almost wish it was longer. Definitely steals the show. A little bit of a different aspect of like using the ladder more as like a, not necessarily a weapon, but it just, to me, just a different way than they kind of use the ladder matches today. Benoit's a little bit, and Jarrett a little bit smarter with it.
And Jeff 100% protected because that was his second match of the night.
Yes.
100% protected.
Yes. So then we have a hype video, and Bret Hart has a backstage interview with Mike Tenay. He's talking about the Goldberg title match. Michael Buffer, still there, will be doing the intro, which obviously makes it just feel more important.
This isn't the match where Goldberg effed him up, is it?
Yes, it is. We're going to get into that. Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
I can't wait to hear this now. Okay.
So Bret Hart defeats Goldberg to retain the WCW World Heavyweight title via the Montreal screwjob. Roddy Piper comes out as the referee. He calls for the bell while Bret Hart has Goldberg in the sharpshooter, and he says that Bret wins, even though Goldberg obviously didn't tap out. What is going on here with this finish? Obviously, Goldberg is not going to be the champion. Bret Hart retains. What is going on with the Montreal screwjob finish here at the end of Starrcade 99?
Again, that was still like red hot at the time. And I think part of that, I believe, was the powers that be making Piper do that.
Yes.
So
yes.
This is all part of that Avengers story, bro. It's all part of that story. You see what we're doing with Hennig? We're making Piper do that. Then we're doing the deal with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I mean, the story that I'm telling you about is in full effect right now.
So where are you going with Piper? Why did he have to do it? What is he doing? Where is he going with this?
Well, I think he winds up coming in the office of the powers that be. I remember he trashes the entire set.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think he gets fired, I think. So
that's like the end game. He was listening to you. He realizes he shouldn't have listened to you, and he destroys your office.
I'm staying true to his character. Where he reluctantly did it, he didn't want to do it, and then after he did it, it's like the old FU. And I remember he trashed the whole set. I remember that.
Yep. He even had that injured arm, and he was swinging the bat with the other arm and breaking stuff. Yeah. So obviously, you're going with Piper getting fired and then coming back, basically.
Yep.
So as the show ends, though, Bret Hart gets the title handed to him by Piper. He's disgusted. He's confused. He doesn't know what's going on. Piper just goes, here's your title. You're the world champion. And, it kind of goes off, and that's how the show ends. And Bret's pissed.
Yeah.
So this is all we're going to find out, though. It's all a ruse, though. Bret's really a heel. We're going to find out the next night.
Yeah. Tell me about the injury, though.
So basically what happens is, and I've talked to Bret about this too, but he goes to put Goldberg into the figure four on the post on the floor. And the guy's supposed to kind of hold your leg a little bit so you can kind of go down a little bit slower. Right. And usually if you watch Austin, like Austin's holding Bret's leg, but you can't really tell he's holding his leg. Goldberg is not familiar with the move, I don't think, or whatever. So he kind of goes back and he hits his head right on the floor. So I think that's the start of it.
Bret hits his head.
Bret hits the back of his head while he's going for the figure four. Because remember, on the figure four on the post, you have to go down and your head's going to be very close to the floor. And if the guy doesn't kind of prop you up, you can kind of fall back real quickly as you're putting him in the figure four. So that's the start of it, I think. And I don't know if a lot of other people notice that, but if people go back and watch the match, so that's the start of it. Later on in the match, Goldberg goes to kick him. Bret tries to get the hand up, and Goldberg gives him a kick in the head. And that's which obviously
was that near the very end? Like, can you?
Yes. Yep.
It was near, but could you tell immediately Bret was effed up?
No, I thought it was when I originally watched it. Even sometimes watching it now, I thought he was selling. But when you slow it down, you could see he does get. He gets him with the kick. So it's hard when you're watching it and you're just watching and it goes by quick. You're like, oh, he's just selling.
Yeah,
but he
wow.
wasn't, obviously.
That screwed him up for a long. And bro, that was again. I don't make any excuses with injuries or anything because the roster was so deep, but that was the one thing that really, really made me change plans.
Yeah.
And really go off what the game plan was. That really led to the old, we're going to go in a different direction. That was the one injury, because Bret was so pivotal in where we were going. That was the one injury that really caused me to change so many things.
So the next night, Goldberg and Bret are going to wrestle again. Bret's saying this is bullshit. He's yelling at you. He throws the title at you. He said that Piper wasn't supposed to do that. That, what a screw job, this and that. So basically, what happens is the NWO is back, and Jarrett and Nash, and they end up beating up Goldberg, and it's all a ruse. And Bret Hart wins again, and he's the champion. They're going to reform the NWO. This
That was the
NWO
plan.
2000.
That was definitely the plan. So Bret wrestled that next night. Did he look like he was effed up?
No, not that I could tell. No.
Wow, that's really strange, bro, because you would have thought with the impact that had and what it wound up doing to him, that next night he would have just not been able to wrestle.
I feel like old wrestler mentality. You just
Yeah,
wrestle
because
anyway.
bro, I swear, again, that was another thing where I was never smartened up to that. It wasn't probably till after the TV and everybody went home that we found out about the concussion.
Because he wrestled, I think it was 9 or 10 more matches after that. Once against
did
Funk,
he
a few times
really?
against Nash on house shows and stuff.
Wow,
Yeah. So he
man.
had a few more matches, and then he got to the point where he's probably getting sick and everything else. Where he's like,
Growing up and
man,
shit.
like something is going
Wow.
on. Like it wasn't one of those things where I can just tough this out anymore. Something's going on, and he had post concussion syndrome and the whole other thing. So it got worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, yeah. All right, good, man. See, I want to. I got to start watching some of this stuff. Hopefully when the Attitude Era. First of all, bro, I don't even know. Are the Attitude Era shows on YouTube now? They're not on Peacock no more.
Really? I don't know.
Their deal with Peacock's over. It's over. You can't watch. I can't watch Attitude Era on Peacock. I gotta hope I can find them on YouTube.
Damn, because they were saying like with the Netflix stuff, they don't know what's going to go on to Netflix and what isn't going to go on to Netflix.
Yeah.
That sucks. I hate that. That's why when people talk about physical media, I'm like, yeah, man, you got to hold on to that stuff for as long as you possibly can.
Absolutely, man. I've been using that stuff for years and years and years, man. Yeah.
So are you happy with this pay-per-view?
Yeah, no, I mean, from the way you're laying it out, I would definitely want to go back and watch it. I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, I need to go back and watch some of that WCW stuff anyway, because I swear to God, John, I've never seen any of it on TV. I was there, but I never went back and watched any of it, and I really need to do that.
So let's wrap this bad boy up and head towards the plugs. You follow me on Twitter and Instagram at 2Man Power Trip. Vince, what about you?
Yeah, guys, real quick, two things, man. I got a new audio only show, and it's absolutely free. It's where you get all your podcasts. It's a non-wrestling show, man. I talk about everything but wrestling. It's called Vince Russo Before My Head Explodes. I just dropped a brand new episode at midnight. So there's a brand new episode up. Also, man, you never been a member of our Patreon, go to patreon.com/Russo TWC. Get a free week of the brand. You could choose from several different tiers. It costs you nothing. It gives you the opportunity to sample us. Patreon.com/Russo TWC.
All right. Thank you, Vince. Thank you, everybody out there, for listening. See you right back here next time for the podcast. Have a good one, folks.